Hello, this is Someone Chilambo here. I would like to thank everyone that reached out and wished me a happy birthday on a 1062 earlier this month, 8th of June. People extended much love and goodwill messages. I am grateful for that. I'm very happy, very, very happy indeed. A funny thing about my birthday this year, in a positive way, is that I've reached a pensioner age, and it's funny, it's strange, because this is not how I had envisaged that my life would be, when I'm old. And I, when I was younger, growing up, I had these visions of the future that when I'm old, a pensioner somewhere. I had no specific place in mind, but what I saw was that I would be, fat and ugly, happy, with lots of children, and wives, around me. I would be like living in this estate, with the big trees, and horses and chickens, everything, just having a really good life, and but that hasn't turned out yet. I'm not going out as a pensioner yet. It's not economically viable. I have to wait another 5 years, 67. It could happen that I get my finances in order before 67. In that case, then I go. My wish really was that I could go out now, and so I can devote much more of my time to writing. But it is what it is, but I'm really happy. I'm well pleased with my life, with my circumstances, and talking about being happy, being well pleased. I've actually mentioned before in various presentations, that people comment, that I am always happy. At some point, I said, well, I don't know about that. But what I know is that being happy is just it's a nice thing. It's a nice condition to be. One of my younger colleagues at work cornered me the other day, and asked me, he says, look, Simon, what is your secret, of happiness? And I said, look, dude, I don't have a secret, I'm just happy. And if I have a secret, which is actually public secret now, is that in relation to my literary work and these things that I write in social media, I write and talk, and all that, is that I carry a lot of pain, actually. And given my background, just from for starters, as a black man, in a hateful world, and also as an individual, having to work my way through, life and its challenges, I've experienced, and I continue to experience, a lot of hurtful things, and but being happy for me, and about pain, my pain is my pain. I can only speak for myself as a black man, and also as the individual Simon. Everyone else will speak for themselves. I'm not into I don't relate well, to people, talking about, look, man, we are all black, and and we are all, we have the same experiences and everything, but we don't carry pain, we don't complain, and all that. It's those people, I don't think it's fair to trivialize, other people's experiences of life and how they work with going through, these challenges here. But when that is said, coming back to a question of, secret of happiness, and maybe also why I'm happy all the time, apparently happy all the time, it's because being happy for me is not only a personal disposition. It's also a conscious state that I tune into to counter to neutralize all these negative experiences that I go through every day of my life, big and small, and the traumas that I carry, I've carried, throughout my life to this point, and I carry those, with success, for myself. I'm able to continue working towards attaining my dreams, fulfilling my ambitions, not in the least fulfilling my obligations, to society, with respect to things that I do, work and creativity, etc., human relations, and all that. I'm able to perform, at my best when I am, and because it's easy for me to get this mind switch of being happy. And that is not to say that I cannot manifest sadness or even anger when things get hot, and no, I do that, again, it might be a spontaneous response to a situation. It might also be a thought out, a calculated response, just to see, what the outcome will be, but it doesn't take me long to find, this state of satisfactory peace of mind that happiness induces in me. So if there is a secret, if I have a secret, it's found in this, my existential challenges, that come to me, that I find myself in. But I think I could be even happier if I lived in a world that is more just, in a world that is that has less hate, in a world that is full of love, where everybody is treated with dignity, where everybody is allowed to exist and contribute to society in their own terms. And the world is a very bad place, certain parts of the world, everything is relative, and are really bad. That concerns me, and I go around and say, ask myself, and when I pray, when I meditate, when I do my things, when I get absorbed, in my work, and I reflect on things, and I say, how fair can it be, that I'm in a situation where I feel happy, but millions of other people in the world are not happy. Not by choice, but by conditions, that national leaders, and others could even become to the micro level, of the family units, personal relations, people are oppressed, suppressed, subjected to, the most terrible, acts of violence, even death, murder. How come, that I am spared these things here, and June being Pride Month, I wish to delve more on this aspect, of human rights when it comes to sexuality. I have a big problem, relating to society, even individuals, that are so unkind, so unfair, I fail to understand how homosexuals can be subjected, to this really bad, treatment, by societies, all over the world. And again, everything is relative. Some societies are more brutal, more unkind. Others are, not so unkind. People are free to be themselves, but the core, it's like homosexuals, gays and lesbians and others can disappear from the face of the earth. That is a load of crap. Sexuality is a biological phenomena. It's a biological state of being. It's a programmed, genetic makeup. We become things that we learn. We shall become karate masters from learning how to do karate, how to perform karate, how to teach karate, how to interpret, the various aspects of karate. We become assholes, because we learn to be assholes. But when it comes to being short, tall, having big nose, having Obama ears, and being black, being green, being blonde, and having 6 fingers, and all these things, that are human, out of various factors. They are an integral aspect of being human, as encoded in our genetic makeup. Nobody chooses to become a homosexual, heterosexual, bisexual, transsexual, or queer. This is how people are. We cannot go around saying, let's be free, let's be ourselves. And when we become ourselves, we get condemned and be excluded. Like racism itself. Black people. I mean, I'm from South Africa. It's a well-known factor now. I was born and raised in the harshest form of racism. That has been in human history, setting standards for other forms of discrimination, standardization, systemization of racism globally. So I'm saying that people who are anti-gay, and we have people, so-called influencers, who are anti-gay. They come up in their shows, and brilliant people, well-educated people, supposedly cultured people. They play stupid, because of this bias, this bigotry, this hatefulness, whatever you call them, LGBTQ and plus, that's rubbish. It is called LGBTQ plus. L for lesbian, G for gay, B for bisexual, T for transsexual, Q for queer, plus is for various others, manifestations of sexuality. Sexuality being, how you have sex, with whom, with what, your preference, that also not as an intellectual processing, outcome, but being a natural manifestation of your inclination, as nature, has designed you, as it sits, in a genetic makeup. So you don't come up to me and talk about, God, about culture, Both God and our cultures are intellectual, philosophical constructs that reflect our times, during the course of human history. They're means of control of society, of people, part of social engineering. And a God I grew up, in the Bible studies, in church, at school, being told, that God made me in His image. So, if God makes me to come out the way that I am, think the way that I do, and then He punishes me, when I go, apparently go out of, out of His ways, that as described, in the Bible, and the church, the church interprets that, and then He punishes me for that. That's a load of crap. I am not anti-God. I am anti the idea, the concepts through which God is presented to us and used by the powerful to protect and promote their interests, and often interests that are detrimental to the well-being of society. In that regard, I have no time for God. And culture, as this social construct, that we create, and like I say, it reflects, times, during our history. It means that, during our human, history, it means that culture, has of need and necessity, has to move with the times. So, if you as an African, say no, we don't have homosexuality in our culture. That's a load of crap. Say homosexuality is as human as as anything, as anybody. Whether you're black, you're green, you're African, you're Chinese, you're whatever, you'll find society, you'll find homosexuality everywhere. People love who they love. So a culture that that grew, that developed 200 years ago, when the world was still in the dark. We didn't know, the world knew very little about itself. You might say, okay, you can get away with that, seen from today's perspective. Say, you can get away with that culture of 200 years ago. But my goodness, we live in the 21st century, the age, of super information, platforms and knowledge platforms. They are everywhere, So culture has to, reflect, what we know, what is available of knowledge, today, here and now. We know now, we understand, that, and that our personal inclinations, are, let me put it another way. We know scientifically that, biology, it's in genetics, we know, that we are expressions of the workings of our hormonal and neurological systems. Our hormonal system reacts to dynamics of our reality, and then the neurological system and is instructed, so to say, to respond in a certain way, and then feeds that information to relevant muscle groups to fulfill, that need that the hormonal system has identified. Talking about sexuality and all that. Let me put it this way: when you are a man and you see an appealing sexual object, a woman, another man, or whatever, is your thing, testosterone wakes up and something happens, to your body, and, there's muscular activity, and then you have to do something about that. But in the 21st century, and perhaps, it's been, historically, but, in our modern times, your final action, final response to close this reaction, this response, this need, this necessity, then is conditioned by the way you think, your values, and the general values, that govern us, that govern society. Here we talk about ethics and morals. So you will or will not act, to fulfill, to complete this urge, to fulfill this urge from that point. When then, there's no hold backs, you don't think, you get overcome, the pressure is too strong, you end up raping people, you end up abusing people, that it's really as simple as that. So when you understand these things, it's then you find that what we want in society is that people must be allowed to be themselves, love who they love to the extent that they don't harm themselves, and others, and within the confines of the law. And damn the confines of the law. Here I'm talking about a love supportive life supportive laws that represent the interests of all the people in society, not a law or laws that are oppressive over certain categories of society. The next talk, I'm going to expand on this. You have this situation in the United States where they've just repealed, this anti-abortion law, taking away, the woman's right to choose over her, her health, and birthing, rights. It's this is so crazy. Women must be allowed, they have to have the right to choose. It's so damn stupid, that it is some stupid old men, who decide over, how women must be relate, to their health, their bodily functions, whether they like it or not.